Okay, good afternoon. My name is Melissa Haltstrand. I am your GED representative. I work closely with Brad Haskamp, Brandy Logan, Neil, and Haley on their team to make sure that things are running as smoothly as they possibly can in the state when it comes to GED testing. So I do want to give those four a huge shout out as we get started here. But I also want to give a shout out to Gail and Christine, my co-hosts for today, as well as the other technical co-hosts that we had in the other two GED sessions. I know Gail and Andy and the ASL interpreters. Thanks to all of you and Lan for having us present our sessions. So as the title of my session indicates, updates from GED Testing Service, there are a number of them for me to run through with you today. My goal is to stop every 10 minutes or so and answer questions in the chat. And because I know we only have 45 minutes. And to begin with, I thought I would start by presenting you with some numbers about GED testing in Minnesota last year. So when we look at this slide here, we can see that the median age is 23 years and that 21% of those that took the GED test last year were between the ages of 20 and 24. 13% were between the ages of 25 to 29, and another 13% were age 18. Oh, and also I should mention to you that these slides will be made available to all attendees. So moving forward, Minnesota GED testing by the numbers for last year, we can see that 49% of the testers were male, 43% female. And on this particular screen, we're looking at the percentage of test takers by testing reason. On the left-hand side of the screen, you can see that it states that 39% of the testers in Minnesota said that the reason they were working towards their GED is for educational gain, and that 33% were stated that they were working on it for personal gain. On the right-hand side of the screen, percentage of test takers, reason for not completing high school, 40% said that they didn't due to personal reasons. 32% stated that it was due to both personal and academic reasons that they did not complete school. When we take a look at the amount of test takers that we had last year, there was just over 4,138. And of those, 2,400 took all four subjects. And when we look at the amount of GED, those that earned their GED last year, 1,981. Onto this slide, this shows you monthly GED test by content. And so anything you see in orange, that represents the percentage of testers that took the math test. Red indicates RLA, blue science, and green social studies. And when we look at this, we can see that in March and May, those were the two highest testing months last year. In March, we had just over 1,100 testers. In May, we had just over 1,100.
Melissa, we can't hear you anymore. If you want
Moving
to,
on,
Melissa, I think your bandwidth is low. Why don't you go ahead and maybe turn your video off, and we'll see if that helps. If you want to just back up to that last slide and redo that.
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
Okay. So to do that, sorry, just one second. Do have to stop sharing in order to, and I'll come back in, but in order to switch the video off. Okay. How does that look?
We can't see the screen yet.
Just okay. I will get that back there.
Great, thank you. Looks good.
Can you see it now?
Yes, thank you very much.
Perfect. And did you hear everything that I said about this slide? Should I repeat this?
I think repeat this slide, please.
Okay, so monthly GED test by content. So what we're looking at is the amount of tests that were delivered each month last year. And you could see that the most testing was done in March and May with just over 1,000 tests in each of those months, as well as October, November, and June. I mentioned this a couple slides ago, where last year there was 4,138 test takers. If we were to look at the amount of GED tests that were taken in Minnesota last year, 12,232 tests were taken. And when we're looking specifically at the GED readies that were taken last year, 17,015 GED ready tests were taken. Some other numbers that I have for you is that last year there was just over 11,000 GED tests that were scheduled. Of those, 672 were canceled, 948 were rescheduled, and there was just over 1,100 no-shows. So now I'll move on from the numbers, the statistics that I showed you for last year, to a variety of different updates. And the biggest update that I have for you is that the GD mobile app is now available in the Apple App Store. I'm not sure if you were able to attend the session that we had earlier today, but there was a GD session specifically about the mobile app. And this is the official app. Again, you can get it from the App Store. Android is coming soon. But there was a lot of information given this morning about the app. GED Manager updates, we've made several over the last year. Generally, we make updates to the GED website, GED Manager, every month. Sometimes those updates are noticeable, sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're just kind of behind the scenes. So one of the key GED Manager updates that we've made is that we've added training videos to the homepage of GED Manager. So here you can see I've highlighted the Corrections GED Manager training video. So for those of you that have Corrections GED Manager access, this video is here for you to access at your convenience, and it covers how best to use your Corrections GED Manager access, all the different features that you have access to. So again, this is something new. We didn't have it before. I know the majority of you on the call who have GED Manager access actually have what we call student authorized view. And when you go to your homepage and you scroll down to the right corner under helpful links, you will see the training video that's applicable to the type of access that you have. Along the lines of the training video being available for you on the homepage of GED Manager, we've also updated the Welcome to GED Manager email. So within the first paragraph of that email, you will see the click here link to access that video right from the Welcome to GED Manager email if you'd like to. Other parts of the email that we've updated, you could see here, it does clearly state that if you have any GED Manager questions, to send those questions to operations@ged.com. It does give you some information about our easy multi-factor authentication and also how to best create a unique password. You know, how to create a unique password was there before, not necessarily all the details that are on this email here, but also even the link to bookmark the GED Manager login page for easy access is listed on the updated welcome template. Also, another thing that we've done to GED Manager accounts is that we've added a training video on GED Direct. So for those of you who have not used GED Direct, or maybe you've just started to use it, I would highly encourage you to take a look at this recording. Again, you have the ability to look at it at your convenience, however many times you want. You can stop and start as many times as you want to, but it really is a great recording that focuses specifically on GED Direct, done by my colleague Erica Mendez. So again, I would highly encourage you to take a look at it. Now, GED Direct is also available for those that are in correctional programs and facilities. So I know there's not many people that are part of this session that work in corrections, but I know there's a few. So I do want to mention this, that Again, GED Direct is available to those that work in correctional programs and facilities. So what that means is that you would schedule those tests the same way you've always done through Pearson VUE's registration manager using a voucher code that you've purchased through GED Direct. So here are just some quick screenshots of what you would see to view the voucher code. You would go into GED Manager, you would pull up the student's account that you're looking for. You would scroll down to the bottom section where it says GED Direct Assignments, and then you're going to click on the plus sign, and then you're going to click on Assign Voucher. And then once you do that, you're going to see the voucher code as you do here with an expiration date beside it. So what you want to do then is copy the voucher code and schedule that exam in registration manager. Just know, you might be thinking, well, wait, I thought if you order through GED Direct, there is no like expiration. That is true, but we do have to feature an expiration date here in order for you to be able to see the actual voucher. So again, this is for those that want to use GED Direct that are in a correctional program or facility. Another update that we've made, and this is specifically to those who have corrections GED Manager access, is that you're now able to move a student to any program even if you're not associated to that program. So you can move a student to a different correctional program or facility within the state of Minnesota. You would pull up the tester's account, you click on edit, and then once you do that, where it says program here, you click on the drop down, you'd see the other correctional programs within the state of Minnesota. You'd make a selection, and then you'll click on save and submit. And then as soon as you click on save and submit, that means you or anybody at your program has access to this particular student account, but anybody who has corrections GED Manager access at the program that the student is going to will be able to see their account after you click on save.
Hey, Melissa.
And yes?
We have a question in the chat. Sophia is wondering, can I pull a correction student from a different program into my program?
No, it's just the way that I explained it. We haven't, that functionality is not available yet, but we're working on that. Just the one that I mentioned is a recent release. It's like six weeks ago that we were able to make that available.
Thank you. And then Linda Keller just wants to say thank you for the helpful links and all of the resources.
Oh, you're welcome, Linda.
And then we have Kelly O'Brien saying, so this feature would be helpful if we know a student is transferring to a new facility. Am I understanding
Exactly.
that? Okay.
Yes, exactly. Because, sometimes you do know, oh, okay, they're for a short period of time, we just received paperwork or notification that they're going to be moving to a different correctional program or facility in the state. So to make it easier on that team at the other facility that will be working with the tester, right? This prevents them, they don't have to create a new account for the tester, right? By you moving the student's account to their program, they'll be able to see everything that they've done with you and know exactly how to move forward instead of wondering or guessing which tests the student has taken. Any other questions right now, Gail?
Let's see. There's one from Cindy that just came in. If a corrections student comes to our site for now, do we just continue to email you, Melissa?
Yes. Yep. Just email me. I'll do a quick check and let you know.
Okay. I think that was it as far as the chat.
Okay. Thank you, Christine. So another update that we've made specifically to the account creation process is what we're looking at right here, where students, when you're creating a GED account, you've always been asked, testers have always been asked to indicate what their date of birth is, indicate the state that they live in, indicate the state that they want to test in. Now we're still doing that, but we're asking for date of birth and the state that they want to test in sooner, so that if there are age requirements certain steps that the tester needs to take, they're going to be presented with that information sooner versus later. Okay, so I think I've covered all the GD manager updates for you, the account creation updates. What I'm going to move on to now talks about a GD student newsletter. So for the longest time, we've had an electronic newsletter called In Session for GED instructors, program coordinators, program managers, GED administrators. But just last year, we started the GED student newsletter, which is electronic. We call it Student Roundup. So it's a great way for the students to get updates from GED Testing Service, find out about promotions, that sort of thing. So here's an example of the most recent GED Student Roundup electronic newsletter. There is information about the mobile app. We try to always spotlight graduates. So in this case, the spotlight was on Victoria C. And so GED students are able to read Victoria's story, find out about her struggles, why it was that she decided to work towards her GED, find out more about her GED journey. There also was a link to a blog, Tips for Success and GED Marketplace updates, and then also a link for a brand new podcast called Education Unplugged. So stories about the experiences of different GED learners. For a student to be able to get this, they do need to opt in to marketing emails from GED. So this is a question that they get asked when they create their GED account. Even if they said no when they created their GED account, they can always go to the edit profile section of their account and change their answer from no to yes if they'd like to. But if they say yes, then they would be receiving those electronic newsletters. Another update for you, a lot of you that are here with me today know about our Tuesdays for Teachers webinar series, free professional development. And I'm not sure if you are aware of the most recent Tuesdays for Teachers that we had. It was called This One Is For You, GED 101. That was on May 28th. That's when the live session was, but you have the ability to access the recording of this. And this one's great for new teachers. So, as a new teacher, the questions that you see listed here often come, pretty fast. What's on the test? How do I decide what to teach? How are the questions set up? What is the score report? So, if you're new to preparing students for the GED test, I would encourage you to take a look at this. And I'll show you how to get to it here.
One more
in a bit.
question.
Yes.
So we have Laura asking, is there a way to show us students still needing an age waiver? That way we can see their practice scores and areas needed to review.
Is there a way for you to see the age waiver? I don't think there is, but I'm just writing this down to check on this. And that's Laura, right?
Yep, Laura Mallet. Sorry.
Oh, okay, yes. Hey, Laura. See the age waiver. I don't think so, but I'm going to check with our Dev and Tech team, and then I'll let you know. And any other questions right now, Christine?
Nope, that was it.
Okay. So I just mentioned the most recent Tuesdays for Teachers webinar that we had. Here's the upcoming one. It's on August 27th, pretty soon here. It's a 2-for-1 session, 2 different topics. The first one titled, You Can't Revise and Edit Until You Analyze. So they're going to look at a different approach to the extended response. So they're going to take a dive into the essential elements of an effective response. When I say they, that's Susan Pittman and Debbie Fawcett, who have delivered a lot of our Tuesdays for Teachers sessions. So they're going to specifically focus on arguments and evidence, connections, explanations, details, transitions, sentence structure, grammar, and mechanics. I mentioned that this is a 2-for-1 session. The second part of the session, they'll talk about the mobile app. For those of you that were part of the morning session, my colleague Rebecca Reynolds delivered that session, and another colleague of mine, Jane Bledsoe, assisted with the questions. Jane is the one who will be leading this session different from Rebecca's, just talking about what we're learning with those, there's 40,000 downloads on the app right now. So we're learning more about mobile app users, how the app is bringing learners back to pursue their credential. So Jane is going to share data, insights about users and how you might want to use the app in your classrooms. And so the link that you see here at the bottom would get you into registering for that Tuesdays for Teachers, which again is on August 27th. Another update that we've made, and I'm sure a lot of you aren't even aware of this, is to the college and job training section of the student's GED account. A lot of students don't even visit this area. They're not even aware that it's on their account, but it's there. Along the top of their screen, if they were to click on the little arrow beside the word more and scroll down, college and job training shows up as an option. We added this what's next section to this part of the website. And I just want to show you what it looks like so you're aware in case you get questions from your students, just to know that some of this information is already there in the student's account. So on the left-hand side, we have some information about college. And on the right-hand side, we have some information about job training. Moving on, I wanted to let you know or provide you with these QR codes for 4 different documents here. The first one is the GED playbook, which is great for adult education programs. We have a lot of useful tools, tips, suggestions in the playbook with links. And so this is not available. It's only available in electronic format. So QR code is here for you. Another one is the GED handbook, which I usually have it at the booth, a printed copy of that when I'm attending different regional conferences. But if you want the electronic version, just use the QR code and it will take you to that. This GED Educator handbook here is especially great for those that are new to preparing students for the GED. As you see here in the middle of the GED Educator Handbook picture, it says everything you need to prepare students for the GED test. There's a great checklist in there that new educators can use to make sure that they're incorporating all the different things that they should when it comes to preparing students for the GED test. I'm going to show you a lot of educator resources here shortly because we did revamp the educator portal. But if you were quickly looking for educator resources, you could use the QR code that you see here, and it would take you to a lot of them. And by using this QR code, it would take you to the educator resources that are in English. By using this QR code, it would take you to those same resources in Spanish. I'm just going to stop and see if there's any questions before I talk about the educator portal changes.
No additional questions, just a comment from Laura saying you have fun webinars.
Oh, thank you. Thanks. Okay, so how are we for time? Okay, slide 32, 158. Okay, educator portal has been updated. So in April was when we introduced the new layout. And the main thing to understand here is that the educator portal always had a lot of tools and resources for GED educators, and they're still there. They've just been moved around so that it's more intuitive, it's easier to navigate. So basically, we just revamped it. And so we took a look at which resources, which tools were being used the most, and moved those up to more prominent places. So recategorized everything to make it easier for educators to find what they're looking for. So to get to that educator portal, you would get to it now the same way that you did before. You go to GED.com, you click on that blue rectangle titled Educators and Admins. And once you do that, that takes you into the portal. There's no charge, it's just free. It just links you into the educator portal. And one of the changes that we've made is that the different sections, the different categories for the educator portal are now listed across the top middle of the screen. You could see that there's, for those of you who used it before, there's a couple more listed here. So the categories are GED overview, educators, student programs, administrators, corrections, accommodations, and news. Now, this quickly just gives you an idea of the different articles you could find in the GED overview section. Here, it quickly gives you an idea of what you could find if you went to student programs. If you go to the updated administrator section, you see the different subcategories here, more than what we had before, all in this administrator section. So test administration, online proctored test, state policies is where you'd be able to find the Minnesota policy page, GED manager, becoming a testing center, managing your test center, administration policies are your subsections there. And now accommodations has, it's more prominent. It was harder to find that before. But for example, when you click on accommodations, you have easy access to the forms. You find out about how to apply, information about the appeal process, and easy access to those on-screen computer guides that will walk testers through, students through how to change the color, or how to change the text size or highlight text when they're in the middle of a test. Corrections, we had a correction section before. This gives you an idea of how it's been revamped. So there's a corrections basic section. We have some information about scheduling and how to release an inmate's how to provide somebody who's been released access to their account, step-by-step instructions. And then in the top right here, you see a variety of different print-ready guides that are available to help those that work in corrections with some of the administrative matters that they have to deal with. So those guides are here to be accessed at any time. And now we're looking at the educator section. So this is the area that is most visited. You see the different subsections here: teaching the GED test, free classroom materials, teaching resources, professional development, prep products, adult education program toolkit, GED Direct, GED Manager. So many different subsections, and I just want to highlight some of these resources that are within this educator section of the portal. So just like before, there's access to that free practice test that's a quarter of the length. So not the GED Ready, but again, the one that's quarter of the length. You can access it through here. There's this short article on 5 things to know about the GED practice tests. The study guides available for each subject in both English and Spanish. So each one, the format's the same, right? If you were to access any one of these, the first part is what you need to know about this particular subject. And then test overview, where they'll list the topics for each subject, the amount of time that the students have to take it, whether or not they get any breaks, and then format, whether or not a calculator is allowed, what types of questions will the student be asked. Is it essay? Is it multiple choice? Is it drag and drop? That sort of thing. Another resource that's available in this educator section is the calculator tutorial, the welcome tutorial. There are resources that deal specifically with the extended response, again, both in English and Spanish. You see some of them listed here on the screen, and at the bottom, you have access to 8 short videos presented by one of our GED grads, named Alice, on different parts of the extended response. Alice's videos, just so you know, range in length from 1.5 minutes to 3.5 minutes. And again, there are 8 videos related to the extended response. Also, just looking at the screen here, there's so many different educator guides that you have access to. I mean, I provided you with QR codes for the educator handbook, the GED playbook. There's also a student handbook. So maybe you're working with a student who tells you that just because of how busy life is right now, that they're not going to have time to work with your prep center, that they really are going to try and do this by themselves. You might want to, give them the link to the student handbook, because that's especially helpful to those that are trying to do this on their own without any help. Then you have access to our performance level descriptors, our high impact indicators. Under Learn More here in the bottom right, lots of different print ready guides that provide step-by-step instructions, complete with screenshots for different things that the student has to might have to do in their GED journey. So, for example, even like applying for accommodations is one of those guides that they could access in this section, but you could also get that in the accommodations part of the website. I showed you the QR code for the GED playbook. Here I'm just showing you what the table of contents looks like here. So again, focus here. This is for adult education programs. How is the typical GED program structured? What are the duties of an adult education program manager, program director, that sort of thing, are within this document. Christine, I'm just going to stop quickly and ask if you have any questions before I continue.
Nope, no new questions in the chat.
Okay, perfect. I mentioned this before, but again, this is all available to you through the educators part of the educator portal here. Printable flyers. I know in the GED session this morning, we were asked, are there any flyers specific for the mobile app? They are going to be added to this part of the website. So right now you have a couple different options to choose from in terms of promoting your program. You see one of the options here on the slide. So all you need to do then is go to the bottom, and where it says type information about your center here, list your center's name, address, phone number, email address, website, and then you can use these flyers. So many of you on the call have access to GED Manager, but there are some that don't. If you want access to GED Manager, go to this link and click on Request Access and complete that form. If you had access to GED Manager and your account was deactivated because you weren't using it, don't worry. You can request for your account to be reactivated. Go to this link and then click on this link that you see here in the green tile box. Also, if your prep center is listed on our website and in student accounts, and you know that there's a edit that needs to be made, maybe you changed locations, maybe the name has slightly been edited, maybe the phone number is changed, please go to this section and then click on the form to let us know that that information needs to be updated. The Tuesdays for Teachers, if you're wondering how to access past Tuesdays for Teachers webinars, you could go to the link that you see at the top of this slide, and you would be able to see PD sessions from the last years. So that means you have access to the recording, the PowerPoint, as well as any other resources that the presenters made available to the live audience. Here's just a smattering of some of the Tuesdays for Teachers that we've had in the last 6-7 months. And sorry, I'm going so fast. I'm just trying to get through all the slides here. Another way that you can get to the Tuesdays for Teachers is go on YouTube, search for GED Testing Service, Tuesdays for Teachers, and you'll have access to the last 3 years worth of Tuesdays for Teachers through this method as well, through YouTube. Just be sure to click on Show More so that you can see the previous sessions, because obviously they wouldn't be able to list all of them on the first screen. So the more that you want to go back, just click on Show More. And if you would like to get that free electronic newsletter that tells you about the upcoming Tuesdays for Teachers, as well as information about our promotions, latest news updates, then I would encourage you to sign up for the in-session newsletter. Once you're in the educator portal, just scroll all the way down to the bottom and click on this blue button. And all we need is for you to enter your email address and then click on sign up. So this is what I mean when I say scroll down to the bottom of the educator portal, click on this, sign up to get the latest news and resources, and then enter your email address. As we're wrapping up here, I wanted to let you know that this year's annual GED conference was in Long Beach, California. We're looking at a picture of the 6 California GED Award winners who spoke during that conference about their GED journey. So that's always the highlight of the conference. I wanted to showcase that. Also at this year's conference, our keynote was Marcus Bullock, his story of being in the prison system, having two people in his corner, his mom, his teacher, Miss Alice, and using his sentence as the motivation to create Flick Shop was very inspiring, very eye-opening. And I wanted to let you know that next year's GED conference will be in Chicago. Usually our conferences are the third week of July. Next year, we're switching it to August. So next year, Chicago, August 4th to August 6th. And this slide here is really important because I know so many of you want more information about some of the topics that you see here on this slide. And I just want to let you know that I'm available to lead virtual GED info sessions for you, your team, on the different topics that you see here. Maybe there's there's some topics that you don't see here that you're thinking, gosh, it would be great, Melissa, if we could get you for half hour or an hour to talk through, this. Just let me know. If you don't have my email address, you're going to see it here shortly. But again, available to lead these different sessions for you and your group, your team. And as we wrap up, I think it's important to review GED testing retest rules. I get questions about this often. What are the retest rules? And so it's really important to understand that when it comes, students have 3 attempts per subject to pass, right? So after 3 non-passing attempts, then we impose that 60-day wait. And so, but on January 1st of each year, we do an annual reset. So the tester is allowed to start fresh. So when you look at the example on the right-hand side of the screen, you see that, okay, I've taken math on January 15th. I did not pass it then. I tried again on February 1st. I didn't pass it. I tried it again a third time on February 10th. I didn't pass it. Because now I've tried 3 times and haven't passed, now the 60-day wait is imposed. So I wait 60 days, I take it again. Unfortunately, I didn't pass. Another 60-day wait is imposed. So that would continue throughout the year until December 31st, but then on January 1st of the next year, reset. So hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions, let me know. Along the line of retests, want to let you know that we understand that sometimes there's exceptional circumstances, and there are some people, this usually happens in the correctional sphere, where they can't wait the 60 days to test, because if we wait 60 days, then they're not going to be in that correctional facility anymore. So if a tester is going to be released before they could ask if it's possible that they're allowed to test earlier. Send an email to operations@GED. Give us that tester's first and last name with their GED ID number, a screenshot showing their testing activity, what date, what is the date of their planned release. But also for public students, maybe they need to test earlier because they're being offered an incredible job opportunity. Reach out, let us know. We'll ask our assessment team to review the request, and then they'll make the decision. GED Manager accounts, I talked about deactivation. Just so you know, if you haven't used your GED Manager account, like in the last 180 days, then the system will deactivate it. But like I said before, you can request that your account be reactivated again. You would just go to the part of the educator portal that has the GED Manager request form on there. I know my colleague Debbie Berkthal talked about how accommodation approvals are now valid for 2 years. We announced this at last year's conference, but I still know that there's some people that aren't aware of this. So that's why I wanted to mention it to all of you. And unused vouchers, if you have any that are recently expired, about to expire, send them my way and I will get those taken care of for you. And here is my email address. Christine, I'd happily take any other questions. I know we only have 2 minutes left.
There have been a few questions, but I feel like they've all been answered. A couple of that were thanking you for the session. Brandy put the link for the preferred process for the GED in the chat so people could access that.
Okay.
Somebody asked for your contact information, but you've got that up here, so that's good. I think specifically regarding questions for corrections. And then Brandy also asked a question or answered the question about the wait period starts on the day of the third retest, correct? And her response was yes, after the not passed third attempt.
Yes, then yes, exactly.
Yep. Everyone else is just saying, thank you. This has been so helpful. Thank you. Great job.
Sorry.
Melissa's fantastic.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for attending. I know you have other choices. I really, really appreciate it. So thank you for all your hard work and enjoy the rest of the summer. Take care.
Thanks, Melissa.